grounds, commandos perfect counter-terrorism tactics. NSG has the only counter-hijack force in India. Their commandos practice hijack scenarios in the on-campus aircraft. Timing is paramount.
FIT move, MIT move. Roger over.
It can make the difference between life and death during real operations.
MIT go.
Coordination with extreme precision. That's the key. Aside from airline hijacking, there are other threats that can come from the sky. Drones can disrupt air travel. They also can deliver narcotics and explosives payloads, or assist in attack or surveillance.
81 drone in range. 81 engage.
The NSG has the commandos and equipment to counter such tactics. The drone killer weapon system does not fire bullets, but emits invisible radio waves. It will neutralize a variety of unmanned aerial vehicles.
81, drone down, over.
The NSG top brass constantly reviews the technological preparedness of the force. They ensure that counter-terror activities are supported by the right kit.
NSG does operations which require specialized weaponry, special equipment, and also special protective gear.
So we have to keep ourselves really updated on the kind of equipment we have.
Today, NSG is equipped and prepared for diverse combat scenarios.
Although it is the man behind the machine always that matters, but equipment also plays a very critical role. That small nanosecond difference or that small extra effort, it can, in times of combat, it can mean the difference between life and death. So his operational effectiveness gets enhanced, his confidence increases, and his capabilities to fight also get greatly increased when he is armed with the best possible equipment. So that when they go out to fight for the country, they do not lack anything that is required by them.
The induction training at the NSG Counter-Terrorism Force has gone into overdrive. The trainers are turning on the heat.
इस एक्सरसाइज का मकसद था आपका फिजिकल और मेंटल दोनों टेस्ट लेना.
The first challenge for the inductees is to be put under physical and mental stress for 48 hours, non-stop. They are given various tasks throughout the day.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Even the whole night is spent active. The next morning, the men have been without sleep for 24 hours, and they still have 24 hours to go.
Despite feeling tired, I was excited about our next task, firing the sniper rifle. But our instructors were meant to put us under stress. So before we fired, they made us do 50 knuckle push-ups. This was the first time in my life that I was going to fire a sniper rifle.
Detail line position.
I wanted to get it right.
Tail bar.
But I was still breathless and panting after the push-ups. The slightest shake will affect the shot, and targets are usually far away. In this case, it was at 400 meters. And it was such a happy moment. I really felt a sense of achievement. But honestly, at that time, I could only focus on the next 23 hours of stress that was coming our way.
Snipers are essential in the NSG arsenal. These are highly trained marksmen who can hit pinpoint targets at extremely long distances. sometimes up to a kilometer away. State-of-the-art shooting ranges at NSG turn commandos into crack shots. Targets at NSG depict a terrorist hiding behind a hostage. It's little wonder that the NSG is called the Zero Error Force.
Good.
Meanwhile, the inductees continue with the 48-hour stress test. By mid-morning of the second day, they are flipping tires in 40+ degrees heat.
I don't know how much that tire weighed, but believe me, after a sleepless night, flipping it for almost 800 meters was hard. It was difficult to think that I had still over 20 hours to go. But in moments like this, I feel it's best to just focus on the next task and not to let your mind run and panic.
By the evening, the men are allowed a short break.
Keeping our body fit during the training is very important. And I personally feel that taking care of our feet is of utmost importance, because 90% of the time during the training our shoes are on, and with all that sweat and dirt, so whenever I get time, I just take off my shoes, change my socks and wash my feet. This human body is a magical thing. It can really be pushed and it can do wonders. By the second night we were so exhausted, but all of us were still going for it. Honestly, those memories just fade in and out of my mind. I can't even remember most of the things. I just know that our instructors kept the scenario as real and difficult as possible. It is crazy, but it is very close to reality. If it happens for real, this is going to be the case.
जो ड्रिल्स बनती जाती हैं वो ऑन ग्राउंड बनती हैं, सिनेरियोज जो बनते हैं ऑन ग्राउंड सिनेरियोज बनते हैं. जितनी आप लोग प्रैक्टिस करोगे उतना आप लोगों के लिए रिफाइनमेंट और बेटर होते रहोगे. अभी आप लोग ब्रेक करेंगे, डिनर करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद आपके रात के आदेश आपको मिलते ही जाएंगे. क्लियर है सर? बाकी सब खुश हैं?
When you are put under these conditions, I think these thoughts can come to anybody's mind. Breaking point, what is the limit, give up. But I think to be a commando, you have to be able to shut out these thoughts. You have to be a fighter.
So now we're putting them through this phase that we call stress hours. The main aim is to not let them sleep, where they're given a limited amount of time in which they can, have their dinner, in which they can take time out for, some recovery, where they can take a 5-minute or 10-minute nap.
These are the times I miss my family. My sister had her first child, whom I have not even seen yet. And also my bike. I miss my bike. I really wish I had my bike here and I wish I had more free time so that I could go out for a bike ride. I really miss that.
By 300 hours, early morning, the exercises begin again.
आज CPT पास हो जाएंगे सारे? अगर आज CPT पास हो गए तो आज break.
47 hours of stress conquered. 1 hour to go. 1 full hour of physical training.
You somehow find whatever reserves in the body, and you can't think about giving up. You only think about getting the job done.
Coming up, the men reach their final hurdle.
It's nothing but chaos. In that chaos, you have to have your peace of mind.
जान निकल रही थी, मैं धरती को मतलब जमीन को पीट रहा था, नखूनों से जमीन को पाट रहा था मैं.
The National Security Guard has proved itself in operations time and again. This success hasn't come easily.
The nation has to feel confident that whenever NSG is requisitioned, this force will deliver. And whenever requisitioned, NSG will mobilize swiftly and deliver a surgical punch with lethality. So the whole orientation of NSG is to stay in a constant state of readiness. As we speak, there are 8 teams in this country which can mobilize in 30 minutes or less, so that the vision of NSG to be a world-class, zero-error force is never compromised.
Only 2 weeks to go for the NSG Counter-Terror Force Unit induction training. But there are still mountains to climb.
This is basically rock craft. You can see these natural wall faces. It's about a good 100 to 120 feet high. So it gives them a natural feel of practicing and honing their rock craft.
One of the reasons men like me want to do commando training are the different skills we get to learn at NSG. I've done some climbing before, but these conditions are very different.
By late morning, the temperature had gone into the 40s. Mid-June, high humidity.
गरम करो इनको, इनकी आवाजें निकल रही है, सारे को सबको गरम करो.
31, 32, 33. 34.
So we call it toll tax. The toll tax may include like 100 push-ups or 200 push-ups. The purpose is basically to, tire them before they even start with their tasks. It's after the body is exhausted, how well they perform the task. This is, what we are putting them through.
That toll tax thing was really bad. In the middle of an exercise, you suddenly start to feel that your arms can't work anymore. But since you are hanging in the middle, there is no choice left. You've got to get to the other side.
चलो छोड़ो हाथ. चलाओ कमांडो जरा. कमांडो. थोड़ा सा और. Commando!
If you see these tasks, they are physically grueling. You can see on his face that he's exhausted, poor guy. He must have done God knows how many push-ups by now. And after the physical exhaustion, when they are put through it, that's the making of the black cat. I'm not impressed, man.
Among the many units at NSG, the bomb squad is special. It is in charge of monitoring, recording, and analyzing all bombing incidents in the country. The bomb squad commando's job is a difficult one. Even though they wear a protective suit, walking up to an explosive is not an easy task. They must physically carry the explosive to a containment chamber. Robots minimize risk. Remote operators can pilot these vehicles from over a kilometer away.
सीधा जाना, राइट मोड़ते ही दरवाजा पहले दरवाजे के अंदर आईडी है.
Onboard cameras allow both reconnaissance and intervention capabilities. The vehicle may be small, but it packs a massive punch.
Fire.
By late June, in the 5th week of the induction process, the men have reached the final hurdle.
आज सुबह से ही बारिश पूरा क्लाउडी था एंड अब बारिश हो भी गई बिकॉज लास्ट 3 दिन से इतना ज़्यादा ह्यूमिड, इतना ज़्यादा गर्मी, इतना ज़्यादा वेदर पैक्ड रहा है कि ये अच्छा ही रहा.
The instructors have saved the worst for last.
Minimum 2.5 to 3 hours to finish the circuit because they won't be walking on it, they will be crawling throughout the way, and they'll be tested how they perform as a team.
So what we expect from the trainee when he comes to NSG is very high levels of physical fitness, very high levels of firing skills. So we take them maybe 2-3 notches higher than when they actually joined NSG. So the end product is a extremely efficient commando who is ready to meet any kind of challenge in the course of his duty.
Tomer and team will never forget the challenge they faced that day. Nicknamed the Holy Chamber, an obstacle unlike any other the men will encounter. It's a small room filled with smoke. The men must hold their breath and get inside.
There's a box inside, alright, you have to get that box. That box has a key. You get that box out, open the box, and then there'll be a map inside from which you'll be able to move for the next target.
I don't know how to describe it. The mind is in complete turmoil, you can't see anything and you're trying to hold your breath. But the smoke does get inside you. But you can't escape anywhere. So you'll have to fight it.
ये चैम्बर में घुसे कोई चमक नहीं रहा था. मतलब जैसे अंदर हुए तो घुटन होती थी, सांस नहीं आता था, जान निकल रही थी गले से नीचे, मतलब इधर बिल्कुल ब्लॉक हो गया, सांस गया नहीं. मैं धरती को मतलब जमीन को पीट रहा था, नाखूनों से जमीन को पाट रहा था मैं.
The team's first attempt to find the box was unsuccessful. That means only one thing. Try again.
It's nothing but chaos. But then in that chaos, you have to have your peace of mind.
Finding that box was the most difficult hurdle. After that, we knew that we can do anything. The 6 of us were now invincible. We had done everything NSG could throw at us. Nothing could stop us now.
बोल रहे हैं कमांडो क्या होता है, फिजिकली मेंटली बंदा इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग कर देते हैं कि उसमें कितना ही प्रेशर आ जाए वो अपना काम करेगा. जो जिस मुद्दे के लिए उसको भेजा जा रहा है या जो काम टास्क मिला है ना, वो टास्क पूरा करेगा.
It's a matter of great pride for me because I've pushed these guys beyond their limits, and I've helped them test themselves how far they can go.
It had been a long journey to reach this point, and despite the pain and tiredness we felt later that day, we were still excited that now we are going to be a part of NSG.
हार्ड वर्क के बाद मतलब आज वो दिन आ गया, आज हम परसों ब्लैक हेड कमांडो बनेंगे. बहुत अच्छा फील होगा हमें भी, घर वालों को भी.
लेकिन ये 5 हफ्ते सबसे इस पूरी ट्रेनिंग की NSG के सबसे मुश्किल टाइम है. आई थिंक ये जितने भी टाइम हम यहाँ NSG में रहेंगे, ये 6 के 6 बंदे हमेशा साथ ही रहेंगे.
The induction period has come to an end. 4.5 months of hardships are over.
अभी पता लग रहा ना हमारी हालत कैसी।
It is the morning of the Blackening Ceremony. In a little while, Tomer and the other men will take their places in the counter-terror force of NSG.
Wearing black was an amazing feeling altogether. I would be lying if I told you that I was sure I would become an NSG commando, but I did it all.
आप सभी का CC 118 के बलिदान परेड में हार्दिक अभिनंदन है। अब मैं ग्रुप कमांडर महोदय से निवेदन करता हूं कि इन बहादुर कमांडोज को पुरस्कार देकर इनकी हौसला अफजाई करें। बेस्ट हिट एक्सरसाइज अजय, मेजर प्रसन्नजीत तोमर।
We were awarded the best intervention team. After all the hardships, it really felt good to be acknowledged.
5 weeks are over now. The devil part of mine is gone. I've done my part as a devil. Now, I'm the brother in arms.
And finally, with a punch on his chest, Tomer is given the Balidan badge.
Welcome, Tomer.
Insignia of the Black Cat Commando.
After the ceremony, we were taken to the officers' mess for the first time. And what happened after that, I'll never forget in my entire life.
The place that you are sitting is, we call it cradle of sacrifice. You can look around, you will see bullet-ridden souvenirs